Okay, so I'll be making this little card using the Birds and Blooms Crafters Companion stamp set as a birthday card that I've been asked to make. So I'm going to start with the brown grey blend. I've just stamped the image using Memento Tuxedo Black. The first attempt at the stamp, I was using my stamping platform, but somehow it still must have shifted slightly, and I thought my eyes had like completely broke. It was like a double line, ever so slightly offset. It was not good to look at all. Again, I am using my tri-blends. I just find it much easier to know that the colours I'm using will blend nicely and I won't have any problems trying to get that blend to work. The watering can, I chose this particular shade because I find the brown greys are slightly less aggressive, I don't know if that's the right word, than the ice greys. I like the ice greys, the darker ones, if I'm wanting to use them as like almost like a black, if I'm obviously not wanting to use actual black. But I like these brown greys for things that are meant to just be like a light grey. I've coloured this image in a few times now, and I have tried the watering can in other colours. So I've tried it in different shades I tried it in obviously the other ice grey shade. And I think I even tried it in a purple colour as well, but I wasn't quite as keen on them in those ones. The card's going to be made up with predominantly pink background, so I decided that this would be the best colour option personally for me to do this in, just so that it would look nice once it's all put together. And I think, oh, there's still the handle to go as well, so I think I've nearly finished with the greys, but evidently not. There's more grey than I thought on this one. So there we go. So that's all the grey done. There you go. And as usual, I have got a piece of card behind it. That's just me trying to decide what colour I wanted to colour the birds in. I ended up going with the citrus blend. As I say, I have coloured these a few times, and I did do the birds in light blue once. In the True Blue blend, I think it was. And they did look really nice, but again, based on what cardstock I'm going to use in the background, I thought the yellow would look a little bit nicer for what I wanted. And also in terms of the colours I decided I was going to use for the flowers, I thought using the citrus blend would work best. The only thing I have noticed with the tri-blends is there's only really two yellow colours to it. So there's a citrus blend and then there's a yellow gold blend, which is a bit more, I would say, kind of bordering towards the browniest shade of yellow. So there's not many options with yellows, which is one problem with them. Then I used the orange blend for the beaks, and then just the little tiny dotty flowers as well. With them being so small, I just wanted to have quite a bright colour just so that they do actually pop when you use them. I then moved on to the flowers. So we've got the bright pink shades, which is the darker of the bright pink sets in the tri-blends. They do kind of head more towards a purple, but I do really like the way that they blend out. I have, on some flowers that are bigger, used all 6 shades in the bright pinks, and that looks really, really pretty. But these are they're not very big flowers, so I wouldn't have physically been able to get all 6 shades in. So I decided to go with the darker options for this one. So okay, and it's just a case of I've gone with the darker on the inside of the flower, shading out to the lighter shades. So that's those getting done. It took a little bit of blending out a couple of times, but it works. In the end, it always does. Like I say, the tri-blends are just awesome when it comes to actually physically getting them to work the way you want and to get that blend in, which is, it's great. Like I used to be not a terrible colourer, you know. I think everyone theoretically can colour, but it's made my colouring look much more professional and to a point where I'm comfortable sharing with you guys. A while back, there's no way I would have done. I used the dark red for the little love heart. That's a very quick one to colour in because he's only teeny tiny little heart. And then once the heart is done, I think that's only the tulips left. I and ahed deciding on the tulip colour, but in the end I went for the coral blends. So again, these are the darker version of the two. There's a coral shades and a coral blends. So I went with the darker of the two options again for this. So just obviously laying the darkest of the colour where the shade would be, so all the bits that are behind petals and further down where they're just almost like into the watering can. So those are just coming up now. The coral shades have all like really grew on me as well. I wasn't really sure what I'd use coral for much, but the same as the pinks, the 6 colour blend is beautiful. So I think they've kind of won me round with that, to be perfectly fair, and I do really like that. So that's the flowers nearly done. And oh yeah, nope, I was wrong. There wasn't just the tulips to do. There's also the insides of the, I don't know what flowers they're meant to be, I'm not going to lie. So I used the gold yellow blend for them because I didn't want to use the same yellow as the birds. And it's quite nice. I think it makes the pink pop more to have a slightly more muted version of yellow. But as you can see, it is a very different yellow. And they're the only 2 yellows in the tri-blends. But that's the image all sorted. So that's going to get popped to the side. So this is going to be an 8x8 card. And then what I did was cut the front half in half, so 4 across. I then had some black card. So I've cut that to 7 3/4 squared, and then 7.5 for my statement paper, which is a paper pad by Chloe. I absolutely love this pad. I'm really scared to use it half the time because I don't want it all to disappear. I think I might get stuck up on it, to be fair. And then I also cut a strip to go down the front as well, which would have been 7 3/4 by 3 3/4, and then 7.5 by 3.5. So I'm just using my tape pen to stick this layer down. And as you can see, I'm making sure I do put plenty on. As I say, this is a card for my best friend's mum, actually, who I love. She's such a good laugh. I absolutely love my best friend's mum. She has me in stitches every time I see her. And she's always so sweet and so thoughtful. So she brought me my favourite person in the world, other than maybe my other half. I should probably say that. So then I've obviously got this strip to stick onto the thinner option. There's a little bit of glue on the mat, which is what I was just scraping at there. This takes me a little while to get it on straight. Luckily I didn't push it down too hard, so I managed to peel it back off really quickly. I don't know why I had so much difficulty getting this lined up. It was not happening for me. It did eventually work. And there you go. So that got it on straight there. I think I even did a thumbs up. I was so pleased it had happened. I thought I'd better get that glue off because otherwise I'd have ended up sticking something I didn't want onto my mat, and then I think I'd have been very stressed out about it. So I'll just quickly clean that off. And then it's just a case of assembling everything together. So I use wet glue, which is the Pinfair bookbinding glue. I do still absolutely love this glue. Like, it makes me really happy. I don't know why. As you'll see, I put a lot on. There's a lady that demonstrates Pinfair glue on Create and Craft, and I think if she saw how much I actually use, she'd probably want to kill me. But yeah, I don't really care what she says. I like to put plenty on because it makes me feel better. I decided to use that glue because I thought it would give me that little bit of wiggle room just for setting that down, especially after how bad my tape pen fiasco was trying to put the pink onto the black. So that's one layer down, and then back in with the glue again for the next one. As I say, there is a lot of glue on these. That glue, however, is lasting forever. Feels like it's a never-ending tub of glue, which is amazing because I really don't want it to end. I do have another one on standby, and then a couple of all-purpose glues from Crafter's Companion as well. But I'll be sad when that one goes, I'm not going to lie. That's that bit sat on there, and then as you can see, that just gives me that nice fold, and it's pretty well lined up as well. I'm pretty impressed with that. Then I need to trim my image down. I did try and zoom out so it'll rock a little bit. I am very, very sorry about that. So I was just trying to work out how big it was. I think I ended up doing it as a 12 centimetre by 12 centimetre square. So it's just a quick couple of trims on that to get that perfectly in place. Awesome. And then I decided against matte and layering it. So I just used a black classic chisel tip Spectrum Noir. In hindsight, I kind of wish I had backed it properly now, because I don't know if you'll see it on this video, but I've noticed that you can see obviously the colouring through the back, because obviously the markers bleed through. However, I am, before I give it to my friend to give to her mum, going to back that just with some more white, plain white card. I'll get that backed so that you can't see the ink from the back of it before I give it. So that'll cover that little faux pas. I decided to use foam stamps to stick it down. Nice big ones as well, from Hunky Dory these ones are. So just a nice quick little stick down, just making sure I don't go too far, because obviously I don't want to stick the front closed, because that'll totally defy the point rather. And that's those. That should be enough foam pads to give that just a little bit of lift. And there we go. There we go. And that's the last one off. And it's just a case of getting it nicely centered and sticking it down. And then I've got letters. I've cut these out using my Lawn Fawn alphabet die again. I absolutely love this little alphabet, and it's just a really nice size as well, I've discovered. So just using my pinflair glue and my tweezers again. They're just a bit too fiddly to keep hold of to stick them down. There's only 3 letters, so I thought I'd do these by eye. But obviously starting with the middle letter means you don't end up with them too far one way or the other. That's the last thing you want, is for them to all be too far one way or the other once they're down. So bear with me while I stick these. You'll also see what looks kind of like random little white alien dots, or some weird dotty tape to the top left of the screen. It's just where I turn my light on, because it suddenly got very dark here. I have no idea why. It's been raining all day, but it's not been this dark yet. I think we're definitely heading towards winter, I'm afraid. And then that is it. Yep, so it was the Crafter's Companion Brights textured cardstock as well that I used for the mam, and I am going to pop just a white square, a bit smaller than that, onto the back end, so there's somewhere for Tara to write for mum. Thanks, bye!